In this video, we'll be comparing the A&D EK-1200i, the Ohaus SJX1502N, and the Citizen CZ1200. All three of these weigh-in devices are NTEP Approved Class 2, and they are strain gauge base. The EK-1200i offers 1,200 grams to 1/10 of a gram readability. The Ohaus SJ1502 offers 1,500 grams, and you'll notice it reads to 2 decimal place, but the last decimal place is bots. So it's legal for trade to 1/10 of a gram, but you have readability to 1/100th. And the Citizen scale, the CZ1200, offers 1,200 grams by 1/10 of a gram. So these three models are all strain gauge base, and we're going to try to review some of the differences to get you a better idea on helping you select the scale. So prior to starting this video, these scales have been plugged in for a good 30 minutes, and I did calibrate each one prior to the video. So I just want to try to show you some of the performance of each of these scales, the corner load, weigh-in, etc., the eccentric loading. So on the A&D, I have the 1,000 gram weight there, and then this is a 2 gram weight, and so we'll just go to each corner and just see how it performs. And again, this scale is legal for trade to 1/10 of a gram, and it reads to 1/10 of a gram. Now you can see the response time, it's pretty quick. Okay, and now we'll go over to the Ohaus. We're using the same 1 kilogram weight. And again, you'll notice this scale is to 1/100th of a gram, so it offers 10 times the readability, but it's legal for trade to 1/10 of a gram. And again, we'll just put our 2 gram weight in each corner. Try to give you an idea on the corner way loading, or they call this the eccentric loading, and how fast it goes. You can see the display. And now we'll try the Citizen. Same thing. We'll put a weight, and you'll see the Citizen versus the other two, basically when I drop the weight, the numbers don't go up, it just all of a sudden will show what the weight is. Okay. So they're all performing within the tolerance, and just wanted to show you, if I was to put on a weigh pan, and we'll just say we're going to tear it out, so we hit the 0 button, and then what I want to do is I have some regular sugar. I just want to show you the response time if I was to put some sugar on, just to see as I drop the sugar on, you can see how quick. And now I stop, and you can see the display stops, add some more, stop. I'm trying to give you an idea how fast it responds. So now we'll do the same. We'll come over to the Ohaus, we'll tear it out, and again, just grab a pile of sugar, and you'll see as I lower it on the scale, very quick response time. And you might notice on the Citizen, we'll do the same thing. tear. I gotta tear it. I was pressing 0. And we'll put the sugar on. And again, as I put the sugar on, watch the display. I drop it. See, you really, it's not as quick. But some people like that delay. So you'll see. I'll just do it one more time. It's definitely a lot slower than the other two. So here's the sugar. I'll drop it. I'll stop. So, whatever. I just wanted to show you the response time is just a little bit different. So, 3 scales. Let's just cover some of the other features. So, the first thing is, let's talk about the power. So, on the A&D, this particular scale comes with an AC adapter. For batteries, you have to buy this rechargeable battery pack from A&D. This battery pack is like $200, it's over $200. So it does not run off a standard battery. So for a lot of people, this was the #1 selling scale for us for like the jewelry pawnbroker market. But that battery was a real killer. A lot of people were upset about it. So I don't know if that will be our #1 seller anymore. This, we do sell a Met with Toledo also. I don't have enough room to do the display, but the JL602 operates off of regular batteries or AC adapter. So now this is the Ohaus, and I'll just shut off the scale. Now with this scale, it runs off an AC adapter or 4 AA batteries. So that's a big selling point, because now you're not getting zing for $200. And if money's no object, you could be at a jewelry show and your nightcap, the battery pack that's in that could have died or no longer hold the charge, and you're not going to be able to operate your scale. You have to find somebody that has one of those. Basically, you have to go to A&D. So some restrictions there. And now on the Citizen, this also runs off of AC adapter, but for theirs, they have a battery. You literally have to undo these screws here on the scale and pull the scale apart just to install the battery. So we actually don't sell this scale right now because I don't know, it's not as user-friendly altogether. I just see too many people calling for issues, and we'll cover some of those issues. But if you wanted to buy the Citizen scale, you would literally have to undo the screws to take it apart. None of this, there's no the battery probably goes right here, but you'd have to pull apart the scale. Then the question becomes, if you pull apart the scale with Citizen, you probably void the warranty, because that's how most manufacturers are. So we covered the power. Let's talk about communications. So the A&D, the back of the scale, put this cover back on. The back of the scale on the A&D comes standard with a 9-pin RS-232. There are many adapters you could buy out there that go RS-232 to USB, but this is a RS-232. On the Ohaus, if you look on the back, there's like a DIN connector. This is not an RS-232. They have modules that you have to pay. They're extra. It's an optional accessory. They have a USB. They have a Bluetooth. They have a Ethernet connection. They start at about, I think, $90, and they go up to about $240, depending upon what kind of communication. So with Ohaus, it's an option. It does not come standard. And with Citizen, you get a RS-232. So for communication, RS-232 on these two guys is standard. If you wanted RS-232, you would have to buy that module. Most people end up buying the USB module. It's only $80 from Ohaus. Let's talk about warranties. A&D, 5-year limited manufacturer's warranty for defects. Ohaus, 2-year limited manufacturer. Citizen scale, 1 year manufacturer warranty. Calibration. Again, none of these units come with the cal weights, and I'll just show you how to calibrate a scale kind of quickly, just to give you an idea what scale is easier to operate. Gives you some idea. So I have my 3 scales. Let's do calibration. Okay, on the A&D EK-1200i, it's user selectable, and the default is 1200 grams, but I set it up for 1000 grams just because I wanted to calibrate all 3 of these scales with the same weight. So since it's legal for trade, on the back of the scale, we have to open up the calibration cover, and there's a little button here that has to be pressed. So it's legal for trade, and weights and measures typically would put a wire through that. So in order to perform the calibration, we want to tear the balance. I have to press the button in the back. You'll see cal. All you do is hit, this is for, we can enter the acceleration of gravity, but I've already set it for where we're located. So to perform the calibration, we just hit the print key, and then it's going to flash 1000. Simply put 1000 on it. We hit the print key again. You'll notice in the upper corner there's a stabilization saying that it stored the value, and then we hit the mode button, and calibration is complete. Pretty simple. Now we'll go to the Ohaus. On the Ohaus for calibration, all we're going to do is turn on the scale. So I have to plug this one in. Okay. So you'll notice on power up it says legal for trade on. If I try to go in to do a calibration with this scale, it's in the legal for trade mode. There's a bracket here. What I have to do first to calibrate the scale is on the bottom of the scale. They call this a security lock. You'll see it's on lock. I have to slide it over and actually listen to hear the click to the unlock. So if I move it like that, it's still not going to work. I have to hear it click. When you hear that click, it's unlocked. Okay, and you'll notice when it's unlocked, the last decimal place is no longer bracketed. To perform a calibration, press and hold down the menu key, then release, you'll see cal. Then you want to hit this key here that says yes all the way to the left, press it once, it says span calibration, that's what we want to do. Hit enter, it says 1500 grams. On this unit, it's user selectable, either 1500 or 1000. I said I wanted to do it for 1000, so I hit no. It shows 1500. I'm sorry, it shows 1000. Hit yes. So now we have to. It's flashing. I have to put my 1000 on. You'll see the C. It's storing that value. It's done. Take my weight off. Put my weight on. It's calibrated. This is the one I had to show you. It's a little bit more difficult to do the calibration. To calibrate the scale, you need to turn it on. When it's going down on the power up sequence, we got to hit the mode key. When you hit the mode key, you'll see F1 unit. Hit the mode key again, F2. Hit the mode key again, F3. Then what we need to do the calibration, we need to hit the 0 key. It says unload. Now the problem with this scale is it doesn't even tell you what weight to use, but if you look at the manual, it's 1000 grams and it's not user selectable. I put the 1000 gram weight on, I wait for that stabilization, states pass, pull the weight off, does the countdown again. And it will return to 0. and the calibration's done. So it's not as clear. So that's on calibration. Let's talk about the manuals, like I was mentioning. So this is the A&D manual. I think they offer the best manual. Great pictorials, step-by-step instructions. Everything's in here, really. And again, you can download this manual from our site and check it out. A&D, this is the Ohaus manual. It's a more condensed version, but it really has everything you need all together. So, pretty good documentation. The citizen scale, here's their manual. I found there's a lot of information that's missing in the manual altogether. So some people, and this is another reason why we're not selling this scale right now, is because we feel there's going to be a lot of support. The manual is not really outlined that clear. And then, like I said, this is for calibration right here that we just did. And, you know, you'd have to remember you have a 1200 gram capacity scale, and then it's telling us 1,000 grams. It sure would be a lot nicer if the display'd show it. But I guess all you have to do is set up your scale once, and not many people go through the manual later on. But for us in selling scales, we like good documentation. That way there we try to lessen the amount of phone calls that we get. And that's one of the reasons why we're not selling that product. Let's talk about lockout real quick. For the A&D, since these scales have to be locked out, Weights and Measures would put this cover on. They stick a wire right through here and they would crimp it. So this is on the Ohaus, very easy to lock out the scale and put it into the legal for trade mode. On the Ohaus, again, there's a switch right here. They literally will lock it, and they would put a cable right through here and they would crimp it. Or they put a sticker right across here. So if you try to take it out of the lock mode, they could definitely tell. And then on the Citizen, there's nothing here at all to lock out. But if you download the Certificate of Conformance, the CFC on this scale, the COC number is 09-109. It states that the device is sealed with a Category 1 audit trail. Access to the audit trail information is by pressing the on-off key. During self-calibration, pressing the P button, and it will show the number of calibrations. So the manual doesn't even state it, and that's why I say again the manual is pretty weak. But that's how you would that's how they would seal that unit. So that really covers the majority of the differences. There are some more. I'd recommend you download the user manual, you know, to give you an idea. We talked about warranty, but you know, platform. So on the Citizen scale, this one measures 6 inches by 5.5. Ohaus, really unique. This is a trapezoid design, and that platform is 6.7 by 5.5. And on the A&D, we have a rectangular stainless steel platform, and this is 5.2 by 6.7. Assembly on the scale with the A&D, the pan support is permanently on there. On the Ohaus, you have to put this plastic pan support on, so you have to have it on an eight. You have to line up these holes and then rotate it on. So a little bit more, and then you just turn it. And on this guy here, the weigh pan just sits on it. There is a safety lock altogether. They call it a transportation lock. So when the scale is delivered on this Ohaus, there's this transportation lock to prevent the load cell from being damaged. So you'll see here, it's going to be delivered to you like this in the locked position. This states unlocked, but you actually have to remove this. So you have to turn it 180 degrees this way, and then it pulls out. On the Citizen scale, when it's delivered, there's a screw right here that has to be removed. So the weigh pan is locked in by this screw, and they have instructions on it. So that pretty much covers it. Just wanted to show you the differences between the scales. We are Precision Weigh and Balances. You can either go to balances.com or scaleman.com. We do offer the A&D EK-1200i. We do offer the Scout. This is the SJX1502. There's also a 622 and a couple others. And again, right now we're not carrying the Citizen until we see some modifications. Thanks for watching this video.